Hello and welcome to the first Hospitality Talks episode of 2021. My name is Katy Moses. I'm founder and MD of KAM Media, and joining me today is Toph Ford, who is brand director of the Restaurant Brands Collective. Toph, thank you so much for joining me. Would you like to just introduce yourself to anyone out there watching?
Yeah, so you've already done most of it for me there. So yes, I'm Toph. I'm brands director at Restaurant Brands Collective. So my part of what we do as a business, I'm involved in creating our portfolio of brands, both the food and the menu, as well as through to what the brands are, who they are, what the marketing side of things is, what we look like, what our story is of every single brand within the business.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Now, one of the reasons that I wanted to talk to you today is because you've got an amazing background in food and menu development. The Restaurant Brands Collective is a really exciting proposition from my view. And all of that leads me to believe that you're reasonably a specialist in delivery. Now, of course, one of the big things to come out of 2021 is that increase in delivery. What are the trends that we're seeing in that area that have developed since March 23rd last year?
Oh yeah, I think, probably the biggest trend before we even get into delivery is the trend for health and safety, for customers wanting to feel safe when they're ordering food. And obviously, especially in the situation we find ourselves in now, that is very much about delivery. So I think kind of the overriding food side of things for delivery is that need for comfort and recognizable food. I think with the way people are feeling now, when you're looking at your menus for delivery, people don't really want to take big risks with what they're doing. What they want to enjoy is food that they recognize and that brings them comfort. So I think we'll still see those kind of things leading the way, the likes of burgers and mac and cheese and pizzas as well. And then it's just up to the brands to then take those recognizable things and just add their own little sparks of interest and interesting parts to them, whether that's different toppings, taking that base, adding interesting toppings or sprinkles or interactivity with them. So definitely the comfort and recognizable side of it is there. I think what we'll see also on delivery as we go through the year is how the day parts will come in there. So that usual journey that you might have taken throughout your working day, so whether that was on the way popping in for breakfast or popping out for lunch, I think we'll see that start to transfer onto the delivery areas. So we'll see a growth, not as rapidly or as big sales wise, but we'll see a growth in breakfast, that's for sure. We'll certainly see it in lunch, away from the traditional just evening focus, and we'll even see it in smaller areas such as sweet treats and drinks as well. So there's different areas coming in throughout the day that will all start to transfer to delivery, especially the longer we're in lockdown.
And it's interesting when we've gone through financial, struggles before. I'm sure you're aware of the lipstick effect, where they say that, because people can't afford to go and buy big cars or nice holidays or whatever, women are treating themselves to lipstick here and there. It's an affordable luxury, essentially. For the first time about a month ago, I actually ordered dessert on one of the delivery apps. And I've never done that before. I got a big chocolate sundae and it was absolutely fantastic. Are we going to be seeing people using delivery as a way to treat themselves more in the future, do you think?
Absolutely. I think, yeah, we very much talk about them as affordable luxuries, those big purchase items during times of depression or recession. People move away from those big purchase items, but they very much look at what are their affordable treats. And food and drink definitely falls into that. And what's more of a treat than a sweet treat. So I think we'll certainly see things such as warm cookies and waffles and ice creams become more prominent, not just as part of existing menus and concept offers, but their own standalone brand that people will go to. So that will be, you might order your main meal on there, but then you'll look for a separate brand perhaps that might have a really strong brand message of a dessert that can satisfy that part of your meal or that day part, but then also that then drifts into the gifting and occasion side of things. So not only ordering something with dessert, but you might then start ordering things that come in for a business meeting or a virtual business meeting or a gifting opportunity for friends or family. So suddenly that online delivery becomes a different occasion, a gifting occasion, which is a great opportunity.
That's a fantastic idea. I mean, that's not something that I've thought of before, but actually using it as a gifting opportunity. I know quite a lot of people that would like the chocolate waffles from the place that I ordered from last year. So one of my worries about delivery stems from an experience I had sort of halfway through lockdown 27 or whatever it was that happened the middle of last year. And that is that everything that came to me came in non-recycled, non-recyclable plastic packaging. And by the end of my meal, I was looking around me at this sea of unsustainability and thinking, what are we going to do about this? So what are we seeing happen in delivery in that area?
Well, I think it's interesting with packaging because we've done such great work on packaging over the last 5 or 10 years as an industry, as a society, in terms of recyclability and ensuring that we can recycle that alongside food and food waste. I think over the last 9 months, obviously that's taken a back seat as people had bigger priorities. But I think as an industry, we have to, and we will do, come back onto that. And as a delivery side of things, as a trend, you really have to be looking at the packaging you're offering, ensuring first and foremost the sustainable side of it, the recyclability there. And there's great options of off-the-shelf options out there to take to start with before you even think about bespoke options. So that's first and foremost of packaging. And then the packaging side of things is then how can we innovate, especially on the delivery platform, especially to stand out. What can you do differently? Part one is just starting with your branding. How can you create stickers, sleeves that go on that make you stand out, that sell your message as a brand and a story? And then I think the really great brands, the really great food concepts will then start to look at their packaging and how can they make it more interactive? How can they make it more interesting for the customer? One of the biggest trends we've been talking about for the last 5 or 10 years has all been about the experience. So not just about certain cuisines or food, but it's about an ever-demanding customer wants more of an experience when they were eating out, from high-end fine dining through to street food. But now we have to transfer that experience to eating at home, to dining at home. And that's the challenge for the hospitality and the restaurant industry, is how can we do that? And packaging is a great tool for that. To get your message across, can you make it interactive? Can you make it fun for the customer at home? So whenever I've developed products, for any businesses I've worked with in the past, so for the likes of Leon Restaurants, we always would talk about, and I still do now, talk about packaging coming as a gift. It's your gift as a business to your customer. So when it comes to it, it needs to look beautiful and interesting before you've even opened it, and the food inside looks beautiful. So how can we be clever with that packaging? And it's forever being evolved, but how can we do more to that not only when it arrives, it's a beautiful family and represents your brand, but then can I get involved in that? We have a brand called Mac & Co, where we've got a beautiful branded sticker to on it, but with everything you order, you get a great sachet of seasoning, so that within that, you don't have to add it, but you've chosen your Mac, you've chosen your topping. Nice. And then there's a seasoning sachet to shake over the top, to add texture, to add flavor, just to add a bit of fun to go with it. So very much that experience links back to the packaging side, but number one on packaging has to be the sustainable side. We have to, as an industry and as a society, get back to that.
Mm-hmm. And alongside sustainability and that the sort of treat occasion, the other trend that we were seeing in food and drink, in pubs, bars, restaurants, was the health and well-being trend. How's that translating through to delivery at the moment?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think much like packaging, I put them as hand in hand in two things that are coming back. The last 9 months, they've taken a back seat because people have seen that. Like I say, I think very much the trend will be on comfort food and recognisable, safe food. But health and well-being will come back. It needs to come back, but it will tend to sit on the kind of meat reducer side of things, so the vegan, the vegetarian. So within your brand, it's vitally important to have that option. And not just as a secondary thought, but as a really great, exciting, interesting option. And then the other side, I think of it, we'll focus to start with before we get really into different diets, because they will come back, will be the kind of mental aspect of things, the mental well-being of what food as an industry and as food people and as restaurateurs, what can we do to improve people's mental health? Just simply dining together does that. So I think the two kind of main health things will be that kind of definitely growth and continued growth in vegetarian and vegan offers. But then what is that mental health side of things that we can have of what can be helped whilst people are locked up at home, and thinking about that within your food, making it fun, making it interactive, making it sharing. We'll certainly see a growth in people eating more together. We're seeing that more and more with the concepts we we develop and the people we work with within the industry, that actually people want to share. They're eating together more through delivery platforms. So adding on those share as an add-ons are really important. That's a part of mental wellbeing, but then actually then including foods within there that talk about what they can do for mental health, which is a bit more involved. But that side, I think, will come back firstly for health before we get more involved into the diet side of things again. But it will come back. Much like the recycling side, the health side will come back. What we talk about with, as in social responsibility within the food industry, that we've done such great work with as well, with fair trade sourcing, so great sustainable sourcing and helping the community within the business. All of these areas will come back once we're fully up and running again, we hope.
Well, I think the industry has done an absolutely amazing job managing to get, so many people I know have gone from no delivery option to suddenly, actually being able to make a living out of it, and also helping them to sort of continue to be part of their community, which I think is quite important as well. And, there's been some great things going on. I mean, I don't know if you know the guys at Bums on Seats. They've actually started up a campaign called Take Out to Help Out. So that's trying to encourage people that if your local pub, bar or restaurant, or if, somebody on your delivery app does take away, then please do support them if you can. I think that's fantastic. So, there's never a positive in a global pandemic, but what it has done is it's sped up something that was actually a real opportunity for the industry to start with, I believe.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we had the planning of Restaurant Brands Collective there for quite a while now. But this obviously, unfortunately, it just accelerated the plan to launch it. But we're incredibly passionate about getting the brands out there. It's what we've done for 20 years between my fellow co-founders of the business. But it's a great opportunity for businesses that are there, established businesses, to plug in virtual brands for additional delivery side of things, to take their current offer, their current concept, and make it available for delivery. But then if they can then add additional sides to that to help them get through the pandemic, and especially the lockdowns and the years ahead, having that additional revenue stream coming in. We're a great industry at being able to adapt to challenges. We always have been. And so this is just the biggest challenge in our lifetime, obviously, but we will as an industry adapt and have to take on board that delivery is the biggest trend of this year by far. And how can you adapt your current concept to do that? Or what can you add alongside your existing setup, your existing team, your existing equipment to be able to bring that revenue through? And that's why we're doing virtual brands and why we're so passionate about it as well, because I think it's a huge part of helping the industry survive over the year ahead.
Lovely. Well, thank you so much, Toph. I really appreciate your time, your opinion, your knowledge. It's absolutely great to speak to somebody that's so passionate about something that is so at the forefront of all of our minds at the moment. So thank you so much for your time.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me on.